Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome to the Mental House. I am your host, Khadijah. I thought I'd just drop this information to y'all real quick. There's rioting going on here in Milwaukee. Police officer shot and killed an armed suspect, and supposedly, allegedly, I should say, which now they can just use the word armed suspect, even though this is an open carry state. I have no idea why now it's necessary to say the person was armed. Anyway, a standoff between police and an angry crowd turned violent Saturday night in the hours after a Milwaukee police officer shot and killed an armed suspect during a foot chase. More than 100 people gathered near the scene on the city's north side and at times pushed against a line of about 20 to 40 officers, some of whom were in riot gear. At one point, the officers got in their cars to leave, and some in the crowd started smashing their windows and another vehicle, which was set on fire. As officers returned to the scene, this time many more in riot gear, gunshots could be heard up until could be heard about 8:45 p.m. Soon thereafter, the crowd turned their wrath on and attacked reporters and a photographer from the Journal Sentinel. Police were trying unsuccessfully to disperse the crowd, but appeared to pull back. The violence erupted not long after a woman who identified herself as a family member of the dead man implored the people to leave the scene. Please don't do that. We don't want anyone else to get hurt or to go to jail, she told the crowd. But some left and many stayed as the tensions built. Another shooting occurred Saturday afternoon. City police officials said that two officers stopped two suspects in the car. Let me read to the people, okay? You be quiet. Let me kiss you. Okay, the suspects then took off on foot. During the pursuit, a 6-year veteran of the department shot and killed a 23-year-old Milwaukee resident who was carrying a semi-automatic handgun, police said. The officer was not hurt. Shortly after the shooting, Milwaukee Police Assistant Bill Jessup said at the scene that it wasn't immediately clear whether the suspect had pointed the gun at the officer or not. Those additional facts will have to come in the upcoming days. That officer had to make a split-second decision when the person confronted him with a handgun. This is a risk that we take every day on behalf of our community. Jessup said he didn't immediately know why the officer stopped the suspects. Police said that the suspect had a lengthy record, though the specific crimes were not detailed. The suspect was carrying a handgun, which is legal, taken in a March burglary in Waukesha. The owner reported that 500 rounds of ammunition were also stolen. The officer is 24 years old and will be placed on administrative duty during the investigation and subsequent review by the district attorney's office. You know, I really have a problem when we have these young officers like 23, 24 out there by themselves without any mature officer along with them, because they nothing but blunt babies. I mean, this is what I identify them as. I identify them as video blunt babies. And they think that they having target practice on us. So whenever you see these officers, these race traders, these race soldiers, look at the ages of the ones that's really involved in some of these shootings. The shooting occurred about 1 block northwest of a scene of a Friday evening homicide and about 4 blocks west of a Saturday morning double homicide. 5 people died in shooting-related homicides during a 9-hour stretch in the city on Friday night and Saturday morning. Y'all don't sleep on Milwaukee, because it certainly is not the Laverne and Shirley and the happy days that y'all think it is. Remember, we only about 90 minutes, if that 30 an hour out of Chicago. I believe the cities are going to merge, but you know, this city is really fastly becoming one of the most violent cities in America. It's just the murder rate is just moving up, and people are not talking about. They talk about Chicago, but they're not talking about how Milwaukee is moving up in the statistics in terms of murder. And I guess that's all over the country. But here's what I want to say: Milwaukee is not no lightweight town. There's a lot of conscious people here. Believe it or not, this is the third city that Elijah Muhammad hand built his mosque. I mean, you had Temple Number 1 in Detroit. You had Temple Number 2 in Chicago, and you have Temple Number 3 right here in Milwaukee. And again, this is the temple that was started by Elijah Muhammad himself. And it's not that Milwaukee is asleep. Tariq Nasheed was here, I think, a couple weekends ago, and he was just talking about how we shut down gas stations here when they pull guns on individuals and don't treat us accordingly. We had one particular gas station where the young man pulled a gun out, shot a girl for some potato chips. She took some potato chips, and it was just like the young lady in Los Angeles that got shot by the the Asian vendor, except this girl didn't die. But the brothers came and shut that store down. They shut it down. They was done. Same thing happened with this gas station on Sherman Boulevard, and that's where all this riot took place this evening on Sherman. There's a lot of Arab gas stations. One in particular was closed down just 2 weeks ago because the guy brandished a gun at a woman. And she went home, and when she came back, who did she come back with? I can't think right now. I can see the little brother right now, but I can't think of his name. But anyway, he came. He started redirecting the traffic, telling them they don't need to come here because they pull guns out on women. And the gas station owner thought that it was just going to last for a few minutes, okay? But he wasn't even ready for what eventually took place. They were shut down to the point where he had to come out and make an apology to the community. Came out and that was giving people free gas, because you're not going to come into our community and suck up all the resources and then leave. People can say what they want to say about Mike McGee when he was an older person, but one thing I did love about that brother is when he saw how much money they were taking out of these little communities, in these little stores, these little corner stores, these little Arab stores where they sell drugs and guns and everything. He said, you know what? If these guys can make $1 million off this corner, well, I tell you what, come school, they can have a block party. He can buy some book bags and some supplies for the children. Oh, they didn't like that. But that's a program that's in effect right now because the aldermen refuse to continue to allow people to take money out of the community without putting money back. Yeah, that's what happened. And since I'm going to have to cut this interview short, I just wanted to make that effect to y'all, let y'all know what's going on in Milwaukee tonight. There is a riot, and it is because the police shot a young man tonight, 23 years old. We don't know why yet, but the people out there wasn't there for that, and they retaliated. Okay. Alright, you guys, if you like what you hear, please subscribe, and I'm going to see you next time in the mental house. Bye-bye.